7. But again, now you're up against a two-time defending world champ, 3 times the last 4 years in a 1-game scenario. I don't like my odds if I'm Toronto at that point. So I think for the Warriors, it's 1 game at a time. I firmly believe they will win game 6. And then at that point, I actually give them the edge going into game 7. Justin, we have said that neither one of us have a dog in this fight. I have absolutely hated the Warriors for the last 4 years, not only for KD joining them, but because I'm a huge LeBron guy.
Uh-oh. Are you adopting a dog here?
No, well, not adopting them. They're not my favorite team by any stretch. I'm not going to buy a jersey.
Temporary adoption.
Who do you find yourself rooting for? Because I'm finding myself rooting for the Warriors. This is a very weird feeling coming through my body these last couple of games. And I'm texting you like the refs are screwing them. They're, and I'm listening to myself and I'm going, Eric, I think you're rooting for the Warriors here. And so it's kind of odd. It's a very weird feeling. But at the same time, I've gained a tremendous amount of respect for Steph in this series. He's always bothered me with those like pube beards on his face and everything else. I just don't like the guy, the way he chews on his mouth guard. There's just a lot that just bugs me about him. But at the same time, he's a great guy and he's a great player. So I think all the things that bug me about him are just these little stupid nuanced things that I like to pick apart because I was a LeBron guy. You can't pick anything apart about Steph Curry. He's given you everything. And now you've got this KD situation. You've got Clay who toughed out an injury. Iggy I've always liked, but he's toughing out injuries. I'm finding myself rooting for them. This is a long question. And I'm asking you, I think I'm pulling for the Warriors now. Who are you actually pulling for? Who would you rather see win this title?
Well, I definitely want to see the Warriors win game 6 because I want to see a game 7. So I will say that. But yeah, I do find myself with all the adversity they've gone through, it is pulling for the Warriors some. And I think part of it is Toronto, they just don't have a lot. That team doesn't feel like it has a lot of personality to it. They kind of got
even their superstar is like a robot.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of waiting for like Kawhi to get hit in the head and some kind of mechanical like WD-40 fluid like run out of him and not really like blood at this point. And I like Kawhi, but coming off of what happened last year, it's just weird how that all played out. And then he gets there and he doesn't want to commit. And it's, he's buying houses here and as he bought stuff into, it's just kind of gotten annoying with that whole free agency stuff. And I agree with you. I do find myself pulling more for the Warriors, I have to say. And some of it is, and the way the crowd reacted to the KD stuff and even the way Drake has, it's just kind of gotten annoying to like, you know what? Maybe you guys don't deserve to be happy. You don't deserve to have a title because you don't act like that. You don't act like you deserve a title as a fan base. Yeah. Maybe you deserve one in hockey, but maybe you're not quite ready for an NBA one. So yeah, I got to agree. I will definitely say I'm pulling for the Warriors in game 6. Selfishly, it's just because I want to see a game 7 because those can be epic moments. But yeah, I have to say if I was going to have to gun to the head pick one, I'd probably pull for the Warriors.
One more really quick question for me, and then I'm kind of out of questions right now, but really excited for this next game. But Toronto, obviously their plan worked. Okay, they're in the NBA Finals. They, made good on the Kawhi and DeMar DeRozan thing. And so I think from a organizational standpoint, they've accomplished everything they would have hoped to get to the NBA Finals. I think they would obviously have hoped to win the title with 1 year having Kawhi. Does winning the title or not winning the title make a difference as to whether Kawhi goes or stays in your mind?
Oh, yeah, I do. I think if he wins the title, it would be much harder to leave there because I don't think he is yet to experience that emotion. So in his mind, he might be thinking and yet to experience that emotion in terms of being in Toronto and the love that city and that fan base is going to give him. He knows what it's like to win a title with the Spurs, but to be the lead guy and to lead a team and the outpouring of love that city is going to give him if they pull this off and they win this, I think then it would make it harder for him to leave because I think he's got to look around at the landscape as well. You were just on a team that took out the Warriors. Where are you going to go and find a better team than what you have in Toronto? There's already a lot of questions in the Eastern Conference of what's going to happen. Philly is going to lose one of their guys, Butler or Tobias Harris. Milwaukee has a ton of guys. Half the roster is a free agent. You don't know what Giannis is going to do longer term. So if you're Kawhi, why not come back for one more year? Or why not sign up for multiple years? He's a guy that's had injuries, Eric. Why keep doing the 1+1 deals if you're him? Why not go ahead and get your max money? You're at an organization that's got a ton of money. You've got a good GM. You've got the ability to get off some bad contracts. Siakam is continuing to get better. You've got depth there on that team. And they've been smart in terms of their draft picks. They've brought some talent in there. I would have to say that if he wins a title, the odds of him staying have to substantially increase. If they lose, then I think he's signing at that same spot. The Clippers have been courting him all this time. He's got a house out there in Northern California. But if they win and that city is like fully embraced him, maybe that's enough to just push him over the edge of like, you know what? I do want to stay here. And I think it's the city that loves me, and it's the best basketball spot.
Yeah, I think your points make a lot of sense. I'm going to have to disagree with you, though. I think your rationale is good, but I think he's just a loose cannon in the sense that, no, he's not wild. He's not crazy. But I think
he does wear New Balance, so that
I think no one just really knows what's going through his mind. And I think either way, it makes sense to leave. If you don't win, you say, well, I was traded here and I gave them absolutely everything I had. And quite frankly, right now, he would be my pick for the finals MVP, whether the Raptors win or lose, because he's just been phenomenal on every game that they've played. And so if they end up losing, he says, well, it wasn't my fault. And I gave you the 1 year that was promised in the trade and I'm gone. But at the same time, you could also play that card. If you win, you say, hey, I was traded here. I gave you everything that you wanted and I delivered you a championship, but I didn't want to be here. I want to be in LA, or whatever. So I think the door is kind of open and easy for him to walk through no matter what the result is. But I do understand your rationale because, if he's one of those guys who's kind of transient and he doesn't really know where he fits and is looking for a long-term league home, then yeah, maybe winning, from what your standpoint is that fan base just gravitates toward him. They offer him huge money and he says, okay, I can finish my career here. But a lot of good questions surrounding this summer for sure. And whether, the Warriors win or lose, whether the Raptors win or lose is still yet to be determined. I know once again, you and I will be glued to our televisions. And I think we're both hoping for a Game 6 victory for the Warriors. That way we do get to go ahead and see that Game 7 in Toronto to see this series really play its way out. Unfortunately, KD won't be a part of that. But we will continue to talk about that story. A lot to be talked about here in the coming weeks, and I'm pretty excited for it. But that's going to do it for this episode of Talk Back. Justin, thanks for all the show notes, and thanks for sticking with me when I just have to yell at somebody when I see some craziness going on the floor. So enjoy the remainder of the NBA Finals with us. We'll talk to you on Twitter, and we'll talk back at you again next week here in the studio for another episode. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend. Thank you for listening to this episode of Talk Back. Staying current on sports is our number one goal, so we drop a new episode each Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or the podcatcher of your choice. For more info about the show, to meet the hosts, or to partner with us on future episodes, please visit TalkBackFanTalk.com. We really enjoy hearing your take on the world of sports, even when you disagree. After all, this show is dedicated to you, the fans. So get direct access to us on Twitter using @TalkbackJustin and @TalkbackEric. Check out our corporate feed on Twitter and Instagram using the handle @TalkbackFanTalk. We hope you have a great week. We'll talk back at you next time.